Today, we are talking about living your purpose. I'm Benjamin Jenks, and we are at adventuresauce.com right now. I am honored to have author, video blogger, and life coach Jacob Sokol of Sensophy.com hanging with me today, and it is our goal to dive deep to show you more about how you can find your purpose and why you should even care. Thank you, Jacob.
My pleasure, dude. Thanks for having me.
Let me give you a quick intro. Jacob is from Queens, New York. He is all about video on his website. He's the author of Living on Purpose, which is, it's more a guide than a book, I feel like. There's audio, there's video, there's exercises, there's interviews, and there's a 150-page book. And he's a life coach. He works one-on-one helping people like you find your purpose and figure out what you want to do in life. And he's living it too. He's not like one of these guys like kicking it, I don't know, living with his mom, working some corporate job. Like he is living what we want to do. He's one of us. So I trust him, and I hope if you are unfocused, feeling stuck, you're like, what the heck is purpose? Like, watch what we're going to be talking about, because I hope it's going to help you. Thanks a lot, Jacob.
My pleasure, dude. And shout out to my mom. Although I don't live with her, I love the hell out of her. So mom and dad, what up?
Yo, definitely. I got to go live with my mom at some point for like 3 days again, just to reminisce.
Yeah, right on, dude.
But so let's dive in. Let's get into this. First question: how do you describe what you do at parties?
Well, when I don't answer drug dealer or bank robber, if I'm feeling somebody, I kind of gauge to see how interested they actually are in hearing the answer to that question, because I think that's just the social norm, is to ask, so what do you do? And when we ask that question, what do you do, we don't realize it, but oftentimes we interpret it as, who are you? And we think, and we start to label people, oh, they do this, that's who they are. And we label ourselves that way, I think, unless we have a certain amount of self-awareness and self-knowledge to realize that we are not what we do. And ideally that we want to do things that are in alignment with who we are. And we can talk more about that later. But how do I answer when I'm at parties? Well, if I'm feeling the connection with someone, I'll answer honestly, which is that I help people raise the quality of their life. And that's kind of why I do anything that I do related to ideally anything in life, but particularly Sensophy, with the life coaching, with the blogging, with the virtual conference that we're putting on for young adults. That's the core of it. Is I've been in a place in life where my quality of life was really low, and the kind of biggest thing that I thought, if I could do anything for anybody, if I could do anything, it would be I'd want people to go from feeling what I felt then to what I feel now. And what I feel now is I have so much of a higher quality of life.
Yeah. Can you just briefly describe what your life was like and now what your life is like?
Yeah, right on. So my life was good. Not to say that it wasn't. I had all the things that I was told I should have. Things like a good job where I made a decent amount of money, a nice car, a fast motorcycle, a sweet ass apartment, which I still do live in. I was going out with friends and having good dinners and getting laid occasionally, right? Like all the things that you would think would really make you happy. And I kind of proven to myself that I could achieve these things, that I could fit in with society, and I was doing IT work. So I was managing computers for companies that were managing billions of dollars of stuff. So to me, that came with a lot of responsibility and even some sense of accomplishment. Like, yeah, I can do this. Now, the thing that I didn't mention is I kind of grew up a screw-up. To quote the notorious B.I.G., my life was very rocky. It was very adventurous, and I'm a life coach now. I have an aunt who I really love, and she's a therapist. And one day I was having a conversation with her, and she explained something to me, and she said, Jacob, if someone needs therapy, ideally they're going to go to therapy. And if someone needs a lot of therapy, they're going to go to therapy twice a week. And if someone needs therapy every day, they're going to become a therapist. So I became a life coach, which I think will explain a little bit about why I became a life coach, just because my life was so out of whack growing up. And I I did stuff that was fun. I was very adventurous. I got into a lot of trouble, but I had a good heart, and I felt like I was here for a deeper purpose and meaning, and I just didn't know how to make it work with this educational system and this standard societal structure that we're put into in life. So my quest became more of an existential quest of who am I and what am I here to do? And it's a quest that all young adults face, is this identity quest. Some go further into it than others and really kind of take the Socrates approach of the examined life, and some don't. But either way, we still need to figure out, like, who are we and what are we here to do? So that was kind of me at that point. I had all the things that I thought I needed to have to be happy, and I wasn't waking up excited. I had all types of crazy thoughts going on in my head, and I wasn't able to understand that I am not my thoughts, and I was just spiraling in my head. And the fucked up part is, I hope I can curse, dude. I'm not sure how your audience.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. So the fucked up part was that from the outside, it looked like I had everything you would possibly want. So I felt in complete conflict because I felt like I have all these things. I'm so privileged. I live in such an amazing place in such an amazing time, yet I'm unfulfilled. And that felt like shameful to me. How could I possibly be unfulfilled when I have all this great stuff? So the journey became a journey inward of figuring out who am I, what am I here to do, what's going to make me happy, what's my purpose, and that kind of led me to be where I am at this point now.
Boom, man, I love that. You know, I really love that. You said that well. Personally, I came from the opposite. I was this like uber good guy, you know? I was like, yes, sir, yes, I will do everything that you wanted to tell me to do. And I was like, and then at one point I was like, I had also kind of like worked up in like the do-gooder community. I was running a school and helping troubled kids in the woods, just like pouring my heart into this. And then one day I was just like noticing like, whoa, I'm not as good as I used to be here. I'm not really doing what I want. I'm getting angry. I'm feeling burnt. You know, I'm feeling like, fuck this. Like, what is this? Like, I'm trying to help the world, but I feel like horrible. And what do I do about that, you know? And I feel like people who never get to that point where it gets painful maybe never find their purpose. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they do. I don't know. But from what I know, I feel like people get really uncomfortable and now they're motivated to like watch this video as opposed to like playing World of Warcraft or whatever, right?
Yep.
So let's dive into purpose, man. It's like that word gets thrown around a lot, right? It means a lot of things to different people, and I feel like you have an amazing handle on what that word means. Could you tell us what the heck it is?
I can try.
Give us your perspective on it.
Yeah, right on. So I view purpose in two different ways personally, right? I see kind of a micro purpose and a macro purpose, and the micro purpose being the day-to-day, how do I go about living a fulfilled life today, not in 10 years, which may be the macro purpose, which is kind of the long-term, bigger vision thing of what do I do with my life in a whole. I feel like sometimes we can get so caught up in the future that we forget to actually realize that, you know, now is the only moment that ever exists. We live in the present moment. So I do living on purpose in two ways. The micro being to kind of figure out what's important to you, what your values are, as I call them, and then to figure out how you can create a life with the right balance of your values, what's important. So I'll give an example from my life. When I was working in this IT job, I was totally out of alignment with my values, and I didn't know my values at the time. The cool distinction to make is that my values existed. They were there, and the reason that I felt like shit was because I wasn't honoring the things that were important to me. So a lot of times I know we can really hate the moments that feel like crap, but those can be the best teachers for us about how to create moments where you feel really good. So what I found is one of my most important values is autonomy. Autonomy to me means being able to do what I want when I want, but it kind of goes deeper than that. It's more about actually being able to do things that are in alignment with my purpose, in alignment with the things that I care about. So if you told me to go work in a cush job with cubicles where I was making, you know, $100,000 a year and I had it comfortable and things were good, but I was working for a company that supplied the guns that shot dolphins in the head, right? It would kill me, because that would be out of alignment with my values, and my autonomy would be jeopardized. I wouldn't feel like that's a good use of my time and freedom to be doing that. So autonomy is really big for me. Growth, I always want to be learning and expanding, and I've actually created my life around my values. So growth is one of them. I'm learning, studying, embodying, and then sharing that stuff. And to me, that's about growing. Excitement. I want to be able to do things I'm excited about. I want to have conversations like this where I can connect with people who give a shit about the same things I give a shit about. And connection is another one of my values. I want to be authentic. I want to be me. I want to be who I am and not have to change that because I'm afraid that someone is going to judge me for what I look like, or for what I do with my life, or for how I talk, or for that I'm from New York or whatever. Like, this is me, and I want to just be me. And that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of understanding who I am, and so on and so forth. So I see living on purpose on a micro level as figuring out what's important to you and what your values are, and then figuring out how to create the right balance of those things in your day. And
okay, I'll just break it, hold it up, and kind of sum it up a little bit, maybe in other words, to make sure we're following you. So you're thinking of two things. You're thinking big. Where am I going? Where am I aiming for? What are my big goals? And then you're also thinking, like, how do I live every single day so that I feel like me?
Yeah, right on. And not always good. Like, here's a key distinction is, I don't know if I have the book right here, but Viktor Frankl, dude.
Yeah, Search for Meaning.
Man's Search for Meaning, bong, right here. He says something awesome in this book, and I don't think I'm going to have the ability to pull the quote out right now, but basically what he says like that oftentimes we live in this westernized culture where we don't feel okay, and then, like, because something happens, right? Your mom is sick and you're with your mom, so you're not going to feel okay. And then what happens is you start to feel sad about feeling sad, and it's not okay to not feel okay, and we just go into this death spiral of judging our emotions for feeling them, opposed to feeling the emotion, experiencing it, maybe questioning, why is it here, what can I learn from it, because emotions can be great teachers, and then letting it go.
Yeah.
So,
and I'd like to say, just adding into that, with your purpose, like I went into the spiral, I was like, I can't find my purpose. Where's my purpose? I'm now freaking out because I can't find my purpose when it's right here. It's all the time, and if you can stop freaking out, it's just like, oh, well, I've been living it whenever I haven't been freaking out that I don't have my purpose.
Yeah, right on. And for anybody who's in that situation, because I was also in that situation, what I would say is make it your purpose to find your purpose, and then also understand that it's a long-term vision, that this is a 10-year thing, and you can just start with this value idea of figuring out what's important to you and then how you can do those things on a daily basis. And I'd love to, if you're ready, talk about kind of the bigger picture, macro purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So at the end of the day, purpose is about service. If you want to feel fulfilled in life, it's about contribution. It's about what can you give. But I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm not Gandhi. I'm not the Pope. I'm not going to sell all my shit and pretend that I'm doing it all for other people. I'm a regular human being. I have some self-motivating instincts, and I'm, completely forward about that. So my kind of philosophy and my idea is, okay, well, we know we're going to feel most fulfilled when we give, when we're contributing, when we're a part of something larger than ourselves. Now the question is, how can we give as much as possible to feel that, but how can we enjoy the process of giving as much as possible? So one, we're fulfilled, we're helping other people, but two, we're also really happy and excited, and there's deep meaning behind that. And the way that I see it is kind of this purpose formula, and the formula is your strengths, and positive psychology is proving this in kind of no uncertain terms, that when you use your strengths on a daily basis, you become happier. So check out Martin Seligman's work with authentic happiness and take his Strength Finders test. We could link to it below. That would be awesome. And figure out what your top strengths are. And then you can figure out, he'll list your top 26 strengths, and you kind of figure out what your top 5 are. And then you say, how can I use my strengths on a daily basis? Because we know scientifically that will bring us more happiness. So the first part is strengths. Figure out what your strengths are, and you don't just need to take this test. You can kind of ask your friends, hey, what have I been good at? And I know it's a little weird to ask people that, but pay attention, do some introspection, reflect on these things. Strengths, plus, got the plus thing going. Strengths plus passions. What excites you? So you could use your strengths to clean toilets, right? You say, oh, I'm really diligent, I'm really good at being clean and all these things. But unless you like care about what you do, unless you're excited about it, me personally, that's not enough for me. I was really good at doing IT work, and I wasn't passionate about what I was doing it for. I wasn't excited about it. So I feel like it's strengths plus passions plus service. So doing what you love and what you're good at in service to something larger than yourself is, as I feel, like a way to create a really fulfilled life. And the caveat is, it's a whole lot of trial and error. It's a long-term vision. It's kind of like 10 years from now, let me just keep going in this direction and play with the different variables that can fit into that formula and keep studying ourselves. Like, I know I'm a student of Jacob forever. I study myself on a daily, if not hourly basis. Not too much introspection, but really I'm a student of how do I feel? Okay, what can I do to tweak that? What can I do to perform better? And so that's kind of the bigger picture idea of living on purpose.
I mean, I think you really nailed that. I'm not going to add to that at all. I'll just want to say that, like, to kind of reiterate the last part of it, like, it was really helpful to me when I chilled out, when I like made figuring out Benjamin a lifetime practice, you know, that, and just to do the things that felt along those lines, giving my strengths and caring about it on a daily basis. Whatever was the best thing that I had today, do that. And then tomorrow do the same thing. As you're taking a step forward and you're also like, okay, is this right? Whoa, got myself in a load of crap here, you know, take a step back, go this way, boom, this is right. You feel it really quick, you know, when you kind of like start practicing that purpose where it becomes this art form. We can talk about it, we've done it, but really, there's no 1 + 1 = 2. It's all like everyone's lifetime art, really, is how I like to think of it, is what makes sense to me. And it also made sense that I can't figure it out necessarily up in my head. You know, that there's something deeper, you know, and I think you've mentioned it in your videos that it's not your thoughts, it's not your role, that there's something a whole lot deeper than that.
Yeah, right on. And then as you evolve as a person, so will your purpose.
Yeah.
Your purpose is not static. It's not like, okay, I have this one purpose to do whatever, right? And then that's it for the rest of your life. That's not how it really works. You evolve as a person. Ideally, you're growing. Your purpose is going to become more in alignment with you and kind of bigger and better, or smaller and more specific as you continue to grow also.
Yeah. And I feel like it's the nature of our mind to continually be like finding unfulfillment, you know, that like our mind has this cycle. And if you can not be your mind or your thoughts, you can kind of see that like, yo, that unfulfillment up there is not me. Like I'm this other guy kind of watching that and just kind of almost laugh, when you can laugh, you know, and be like, Jacob, he's doing it again, you know, he's always trying to learn more and be deeper. So at least that's what I do with me. So awesome. That was clear. I hope that helps. And we've kind of covered this, but maybe just a brief, like, so if I'm sitting at home, you know, I haven't read many of these books, but here's what I want. I want to travel around. I want to have a cool job. You know, I want to find people that are awesome, you know, but I'm overwhelmed, you know. I'm like, okay, why in the heck should I invest any of my time into this?
Oh yeah, that was the question.
Yeah, why should I invest my time?
Yeah, well, it's totally up to you. Like, we're not here to sell anybody on this, but how's your life working for you right now? That's the question to ask, and see how honest you can be with yourself. You know, how is your life working for you right now? If it's working, you shouldn't invest any of your time, right? But if you'd like to travel more, if you'd like to develop connections with people who you care about and things that interest you, then you want to figure out, okay, how do I do that? And for me, I feel like the most important place to start is with yourself. Is, okay, who am I and what's important to me? I think like the analogy I like to use oftentimes is that we're on this hamster wheel and we're running and we're running and we're like good people and we work hard. So like we run faster and faster and faster and we just don't realize, like, holy fucking shit, I'm on a hamster wheel, right? Like, you just keep running, you're so exhausted, and one day that realization comes of, oh my God, I'm running faster and faster, but I'm staying in place. And as I see it, the next thing to do is then to figure out, okay, oh shit, I'm on a hamster wheel. What the hell do I do right now? And then I think that starts by saying, who am I? What's important to me? What's my ideal life look like? When have I been most fulfilled in life? And if you want to travel, right? I want to travel. Okay, why do I want to travel? What about travel is interesting to me? Is it the freedom? Is it the culture? Is it expanding my possibilities for life? Is it connecting with people? Is it like getting out of my comfort zone? And you can start to do those things today. You can start traveling at home right now in this moment, and you can do what you would do on a trip. You can do that in New York. Dude, I'm born and raised in New York. I've never been to the Statue of Liberty ever in my life, and you know what? I don't really plan to ever go. But if I wanted to, I could treat New York like a vacation, and I could start doing all this, start reading about it, doing all this touristy stuff. But so to me, it starts kind of with understanding more about who we are, what's important to us, and then figuring out where to go from there and why we're going to do what we're going to do based on that.
Awesome. Yeah. And I completely agree with that, like with adventure. That adventure to me is not, I'm not interested. Maybe I want to climb Mount Everest. Maybe I'll do Everest one day, you know, but adventure is more about living your life as an adventure, as an experiment. You're not taking it as seriously. It's an art. And you're painting around, you're doing it up every day and laughing about it as you go. Okay, so dude, again, we're talking to dude, you that's watching this time. I'm watching this. I get to the end. What could I do? What could I do today? I mean, is there any actions you could recommend? You know, just simple things that I could do if I want to find my purpose. I know we already got some good ones up above, you know, like that's a chunk of goodness, but you know, just anything off the top of your head.
Yeah, well, are you taking care of yourself? Like, that's a big thing, you know? Are you nurturing yourself? Are you doing what you need to do to show up kind of at your best every day? And I know this is kind of bringing it back to the life coach in me, but are you getting outside of the house every day? Are you getting some sun? Are you exercising? Are you connecting with people? How are you eating, right? Are you meditating? Like, meditating is an awesome way to step in between the thoughts that you have and who you are. So these are kind of all basic things that I think when you do these things will enable you to step into your purpose. Like, make no mistake, for me the most important thing when I left my job was maximizing my energy. Because I said, holy shit, if I'm going to take this insane fucking risk, which it seemed like at the time, and my friends and family told me it was, if I'm going to take this risk, I need to know that I have the energy, both the physical energy, the mental clarity, the emotional well-being, and the spiritual energy to know that I'm going to fucking do everything I possibly can to rock my purpose, to find my purpose, to live my purpose, and to do that. So it starts with the basic mundane stuff that is not sexy, it's not glamorous, you know, like, it's the shit that you all heard this before, right? I'm not enlightening you and giving you any like crazy secrets. It comes back to creating non-negotiable rituals in our day, making 100% commitments to do the things that we know when we do these things, we will show up at our best. So that's where it starts for me. We could talk more a little bit about kind of some of the introspection. Life coaching is a great way, working one-on-one with someone. And I know people are resistant to pay money sometimes. There's all this great content out there on the internet. When you pay money, something happens. It says, you know what happens? It says, I am fucking serious about figuring out my purpose. I am serious about doing this so much that I'm going to invest the $400 or whatever it is to work with someone over the course of 2 months. And then when you're accountable to someone and you've paid them money to hold you accountable, you just feel like a douche if you don't do what you said you were going to do. So life coaching is a great way. It's really about kind of having someone ask you the questions to figure out the answers that we as humans just don't take the time to do and kind of can't go as deep one-on-one. Even me as a coach, I can't ask myself questions in the same way that another coach could ask me questions. So I would say if you're really serious about it, it may be worth the investment. And if you're curious, I'd love to help out. And I'm happy to talk for free also. If you just want to ask me a quick question or you got a quick situation, happy to help.
I'll throw, I know you, I love this about you throw out your phone number. Like, yo, we'll put Jacob's number down. You guys can give him a call. You guys already know I'm around too. But I want to reiterate too how Jacob and I hung out yesterday for like 30 minutes or something like that. And this was right in the middle of me. I don't know if you've ever had where you're writing a post and then all of a sudden it just starts flowing. Your life story just starts pouring out the truth of who you are. And I went all in on my blog about a year ago, took out some retirement money, but I had horrible habits. I was like, I don't need that stuff, you know? Part of me was like the bad guy still needed to get out, right? I didn't do it when I was young, and I was like, fuck the routine, fuck exercise. I'm gonna smoke pot, take psychedelic drugs. I'm gonna work when I want to, nap when I want to, and I'm gonna rock this, and I'm gonna show everyone else wrong. And I was wrong, you know? Like a few months ago, it's like I'm gonna give meditating in the morning something I'd always wanted to try. But I don't know if you had a period before you meditated where it was kind of boring. You're just sitting there, you know?
Yeah.
And so started meditating, made all the difference. And I would completely recognize that. And if you guys want to check out that post, it's 4,000 words. So sit down with a cup of coffee and I'd read it for a half an hour or something like that. But dude, you're rocking it. All I want to say is, what's my last question? I got my purpose. What do I do now? Although what's funny is when you have your purpose, you're going to know, right?
Yeah, you live in it, you know, you step into it day by day, and the kind of biggest thing that has helped me on this path, not the biggest, one of the key fundamental ideas is it's a really long-term vision. So we live in a culture that bombards us with promises of instant gratification and unrealistic ideals, and it makes us feel like there's something wrong with who we are if we don't accomplish what we want in a fucking week. That's just not how it works. If you invest the time to step into the unknown and really engage and kind of go about it with the diligence that you would go about getting a really high-powered, high-positioned job from the person who you respected most in life. Like if your biggest idol offered you a job and said, yo, do you want to do this position? And it basically was your dream job. How would you go about showing up for that job? That's how you want to show up for your life every day. And that fucking job will come closer than you could possibly imagine if you didn't do that. And hey, dude, quick tangent. Not that there's anything wrong with, I don't smoke pot. I don't take psychedelic drugs. Not to say that I've never done any of those things. I'm just not at a point now. But that led you to be where you are right now. And without that, you wouldn't be where you are. And I fucking take naps at least once a day, if not twice a day. So naps are the shit, all right?
Yeah. Well, I know that. Honestly, it was tons of fun. I needed to be bad. I realized it. To be really good, you got to have the both. You can't be all good. You can't do it. I tried it. It doesn't work. There's a bad, there's an evil, and there's a way to hone it, There's a way to hone that into your goodness, honestly. And I'm still working on that, and when I nail it, then I'll write another 4,000 word post. But, I want to end, I want to end if you have anything else. I wanted to end on that last one before I went there, because I felt like that was rocking, what you just said. But yeah, anything to add?
Yeah, I think you're making me, you're enabling me to channel some Emerson right now, and I'm going to butcher the quote a little bit, but he says, your goodness must have some edge, elsewise it is none. So remember that as, you're taking on this heartfelt path, trying to live on purpose. Yeah, fucking do shit that matters to you, right? You're going to piss some people off, particularly your family and your community and your friends, and you're going to find a new community of people to support you, and you're going to lead by example. So again, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, my number is 347-398-2814. Happy to talk, happy to chat, hit me up. It's been my pleasure, dude. Thank you so much.
Dude, I'm honored. Honored you took the time, and I just really want to say thank you too. Let me see, I had a couple things. So Jacob has his number there. He's also got this cool report, completely free, 12 things that happy people do differently. You can sign up for his email list, and I don't sign up for many email lists because, I get a lot of emails, so I'm selective, but I sign up for Jacob. I dig what he writes about. He does video too, and I like video. So thank you guys for sticking. If you stuck around this long, we all need to do a little Skype cam high five, Jacob, you and me, and fist pump, boom. And thank you, Jacob. Let's go rock the world.
Right on, brother.